Welcome back to the Stone Protocol podcast. I am your host, Lightstone. I still currently have the bloody eye, a little bit of the methylene blue tongue. So I have a very, 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 very cool guest today. We got Kyle Wakeman. We're gonna let Kyle introduce himself, but I want to set the stage here first. Kyle and I were just talking about how true, in my opinion, truly strong and secure males can disagree without raising their voice. I don't actually think we're going to disagree on this podcast. I think we have a much more agreement. It's like probably 99%. We'll see. But people have forgotten what it is to actually converse and have conversations about difficult topics. And not to throw rocks at liberals, but sure, why not? When I get into conversations with liberals, they often usually start screaming. And then you ask them to define terms like fascism or woman, and they can't. And I don't know how to deal with that other than just walking away. And so I then talk to people who can at least try to have civil discourse. And so I was introduced to Kyle through Instagram, through his content. And I was like, oh my God, this guy's making fucking awesome shit. Who the fuck is this guy? What is he doing? How is he speaking my language? And so just loved his content. I was like, I want to have a conversation with this guy. I want to learn more about this guy. And if I can, I want to be this guy's friend. Well, Kyle, please introduce yourself. Tell people what you do, why you do it, and how awesome you are.
What's up, man? Yeah, I will I'll get into that. First, I want to say about the eye. It was crazy. So I just had we had our first son about like 9 weeks ago now,
Holy
and
shit,
my
congratulations.
thanks, man. But my wife, both of her eyes looked like that after birth. So
For real?
dude, she went 100% natural, like the most badass thing I've ever seen in my
Dude.
entire life. And she was pushing for like 3.5 hours and
Oh my
busted both, all of the blood vessels in both of her eyes. And she had, like, she was pushing so hard, she had black eyes. It literally looked like she got the shit kicked out of her. But it was like
You're
the
giving
most
birth to
badass
an
experience ever.
angel Nephilim, baby. Bro,
Yeah.
what'd you
Yeah,
guys
man.
make?
Yeah, he's dude, and it was crazy because like he's not that big. Like he was like
Bro, give him time.
8.6 pounds. Oh, he's gonna be huge. So I'm 6'3" and my wife is like 5'9". So he's gonna be a big boy. But yeah, man, like as far as what do I do? So I'm learning to embrace this identity. But I am a content creator, and that's something that, I've kind of struggled with, and we could maybe get into that as we go here. But so I'm a content creator. I think most people would consider me a conservative content creator.
That's how I just, I love it though. I love it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and the thing is like if you actually rewound the clock and you went back to like probably even 2000, I think a lot of people would actually consider me a liberal
Me
because
too.
there's a lot of parts of me that, when it comes to psychedelic use and marijuana use and, walking around all day with my shirt off and being barefoot outside and gardening. Like a lot of people would look at that side of me as a traditional like liberal, but now it's just like shit has gotten so skewed and everybody has this stance where you have to be one thing or the other. And it's like part of me is liberal and part of me is conservative. None of me is MAGA Republican and none of me is far left progressive. And I think that's where like most people fall in our country, but in the age of like social media and shit, it's almost like if you really want to make it, if you want to blow something up, you kind of, are almost forced to draw a line in the sand and piss off one side or the other. And I'm not afraid to do that. And I think that's probably one of the reels that you probably first saw is like, dude, I love talking shit about liberals. I mean, honestly, it's easy to do. It's fun. And a lot of the shit that we see in society is fucking crazy.
You don't do it in my opinion. You don't do it in a way that is it. You're not out there looking to make a joke, and you're not out there looking to make fun. In my experience, you're out there actually trying to. I think mind men what it is to be a man and to protect your family and to stand up for what you believe in. And honestly, not to be like a dumb fucking piece of shit. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how else to say it, but I see so many guys that are just like, excuse my profanity, but they're just so fucking stupid. And like, I get that society has trained you to be that fucking stupid because they want you to be cattle and march yourself to the slaughter and put your own head onto the fucking guillotine but that doesn't mean you need to do it. And so I think there are people like you, people like me. I do it my own crazy ass weird ways, but people like you are like, hey guys, like wake the fuck up. Don't be dumb.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, and I think what you pointed out to as well, and something that I've hit on a lot is I think really like one of the most foundational issues in our country is the fact that there are so many people just going through the motions every day in life that have no true sense of self, like no true sense of who they actually are. So what happens is you get people that because as human beings, we crave that, right? We have to have a sense of belonging, a sense of identity. So if you don't intuitively know, if you don't know what that means to yourself without labels and without societal expectations and without, what your parents expect of you and all this stuff, you end up attaching it to other things. And that's why we see such a problem with identity politics right now. And then if you go online and you say something, because like I try really hard. Like one thing that I really make a point of is to like not pick on a specific person. Like I'm not out here to attack someone. Like if you're you, be you. Like if you're trans or whatever, like and that's truly who you are, then like crazy respect for you to be brave enough to like embrace that. But
I've
I
met
think
many people that I truly, honestly believe,
yeah,
yes, this is right for you. It is right for you to get surgery. Total full support. I'm thinking of one person I knew in the D&D gaming industry. She, and I'm happy to even call her a she. Is she a woman? Not in my opinion, but I'm happy. You want to be called a she? That's fine. You're not an actual woman, just like an actual man. At least at one point in their life had penis and gonads. Like, I don't know, that's what it was for me to be a man. Women had at one point in their life a vagina, but that person, it made sense that they wanted to be transsexual and to go through that transition, but what percentage of people are just like hopping on that train or having like weird influences? A lot of people say demonic, other people just say bad cultural influences, whatever it is, to just sign up for this thing to be part of the identity politics.
yeah, it's easier to, I mean, and what it comes down to, it's easier to be assigned an identity than it is to actually like discover who you are. And that's a huge problem, Western culture. Like we don't really have like a process to guide people through that experience of
Initiation
transitioning.
processes, the Bardos in Tibetan, Old Norse, bro. Like we used to beat the shit out of people back like thousands of years ago, and not in a bad way. But so men got like stronger, not hazing, but like, hey, carry that big log. So they used to do this thing on Old Norse, very fucking cool. The father would take the son's sword, put the sword in a chest. They put a rock on top of the chest. Say, when you are strong enough to lift that rock off of the chest, I will teach you how to use that sword. Until that day, you're a boy. Period.
Yeah.
Done.
Yes. Yes. There's no transit. It's like in Western society, right? You turn 18 and you're just expected to know who you are and how to be a man and all of these
To
other
pay
things. But there's,
taxes. It's one of fucking
yeah.
teach people.
Yes, yeah, yeah. So again, there's just so much outside noise today. And again, people accepting whatever identity they're assigned to, and then it's so crazy. I was actually, so I'm rereading, I should say, Ego is the Enemy right now by Ryan Holiday. And this morning on one of the pages, it was talking about this sense of self. And then like I can't remember exactly what he said in the book, but I was like, oh my God, I'm like, that's exactly what I experience every day on social media. These people who don't have a sense of self. So I say something like, hey, three types of men that I can't fucking stand. I'm not talking to you, right? Whoever you are on the other side of that, you are taking what I'm saying to you, you're applying it to yourself, and you're allowing it to trigger some ridiculous emotional response, which means you don't actually have a true sense of self. Because if that was truly you, it wouldn't trigger you, it wouldn't bother you because you would be comfortable with that. And that's why I think like the
I mean,
word content.
it's like a crazy person in comparison to in most people's eyes. I get people that drive. Usually they don't see my muscles. People don't usually talk shit when they see how big I am. But if they don't
Yeah,
see the muscle, they'll be like, faggot or whatever. I look at them and I'm like, bro, I just fucked my fiance this morning. Like literally this morning. I just had sex. Like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Like, did you have sex this morning? Not you specifically, but like just random person. Like,
yeah, yeah.
definitely a faggot. And if I were gay, then instead of a woman that I would have fucked, I would have fucked a dude this morning and been fine with it. You know what I mean?
Right, right. Yeah,
I'm
and
like,
that's the
yes.
thing. Dude, it's crazy. But like it doesn't bother you, right? Like because
Shit.
you know who you are and you're good with it.
Like,
And honestly, like what I think it is for people that see you and say something like that, and it's the same thing, I get labeled all of these other things. it's them. It's the fact that they don't know who they are, so they have to take their anger at themselves out on somebody else and project that. And I know this because I used to do it. Like I used to be one of those guys that probably would have called you a fucking faggot or something like that, you know? And I'm like, I look back at who I was back then, and I'm just like, God, you were so wounded. Like, and I think that's where you get this concept of toxic masculinity, right?
Let's talk about that. So for
Yeah.
you, the transition, I have done and said a bunch of stupid shit in my past too. So like I'm right there with you, bro. So what was it like for you going from that wounded place into where you are now? Just so people like can kind of have context. So this is Kyle's Instagram. It's pulled up. He has 81,000 followers and he has very fucking good engagement. And so like you can have high follower count, not have amazing engagement. He has really good engagement. And so as a content creator, he's doing really very well. And so a lot of people will see that. And I'm very lucky. I have a lot of amazing people on this podcast some of them have millions of followers. I don't, right? But some of them do. And people focus on what I like to call the crowned kings and queens of the present without looking at the sweaty horses of the past. That's a Zen saying I like a lot.
Mhm.
And so what I'm trying to point here to is like, what is that moment, that sweaty horse of you like doing the work of healing to now get to where you are as a strong, secure man? Because that can help some of the younger men that are still in that grind.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think there was a catalyst moment, and I think that's true for a lot of men, right? Because we're fucking stubborn and like back. So really that catalyst moment for me was 2022. Up until then, it was like I was just leaning on the discipline side of masculinity to try to like grit and bear my way through being a piece of shit, right? And I shouldn't say piece of shit. Like, I mean, some of the behaviors, a lot of the behaviors that I was exhibiting, like cheating and stuff like that, like in my past life was because I had these unhealed wounds and I was trying to fill that void with something because the high of sex or whatever it was better than the pain of emptiness at that, leading up until that. And I had overcome a lot of that, but again, it was just discipline. It was like I hadn't healed the wounds. I was just like I was just doing the best I could to hold shit together with discipline, which felt like holding a jet airplane together with duct tape and toothpicks, right? So 2022, I experienced this catalyst moment where I finally accepted that I was starting to have like suicidal thoughts. And where that was coming from was because I just didn't like who I was, but I didn't know how to figure out how to be the man that I wanted to be. And I remember breaking down in tears and just telling my wife, well, we weren't married in 2000. We weren't married yet at this point in 2022. We got married in 2022, but I'm just like, I just want to be a good man. Like at the end of the day, like that's all I truly care about. And I just haven't figured out how to fully be that guy yet, right? Just naturally without discipline and how having to try. So when I accepted that, I was at a point where I'm like, if I don't do something different, if I don't change who I am, if I don't heal these wounds, I don't know how much longer I can do this because discipline is exhausting, right? Like having to do that every single day, it just eats at you and eats at you and eats at you. So instead of discipline, I knew that I had to shift my identity. I had to be a good man. I had to become a good man. I couldn't just rely on discipline to get me there. So the first like step that I took at that point in time was really just completely surrendering to the fact that it was on me and nobody else. Like nobody else was coming along to save me.
It's so hard.
That
That's so hard. Can we talk about that
so
for a
hard.
second?
Yeah.
I want to preface it. I so badly wanted someone to come and save me so badly for my whole life, right? And it's my parents like didn't do a great job of like whatever. Like I had anxious attachment disorder, younger, and like I joke about it now with my current fiance. But it is that energy of oh my god, please fucking save me is so real. And I was driving yesterday, coming here to the studio to record a podcast, and I got hit again with this overwhelming sensation of this thing that I'm about to share. I was like, I am, along with other people, you too. We are the reinforcements that have been called in for this planet. Like we're here. No one else is coming. I'm sure there are other people that are gonna, I take a very
Right, right.
strict perspective, but like we are like the boots on the ground here. So we are the reinforcements. And because of that, great for us. I'm fucking jacked. You're fucking jacked, right? We're strong men, 100%. But overcoming that desire or that fear of I can't do it on my own, and I want someone, an external savior, like a Christos or a Buddha or a Krishna or a, whatever, there's tantric ones of people coming to come save us, but actually doing it ourselves. So for you in that moment, what was that like? And how did you kind of like overcome that?
Well, I mean, it was like it was beautiful and heavy all at the same time, right? Because when you accept ownership and you accept responsibility for your life, it's this super empowering feeling because it's like, hey, it's all about my choices, right? It's all, and that's not what my parents did or didn't do. It's not what happened to me as a kid, and all of those things play a role in our lives, right? I'm not trying to pretend that they don't, but I can blame those things or I can take it upon myself in order to fix it and heal the wound. So but it's also scary because it's like, oh shit, like this is on me and like nobody else. Yeah. So it's crazy, but honestly, like you also, yes, nobody was going to come save me, but I also realized that at the same time I didn't have to do it alone. And
Alone. Yes.
yeah, and to your point, there's multiple different ways to approach that. Some people turn to spirituality and they turn to Jesus Christ or they turn to Buddhism and Buddha and all of that. And to me, part of it was turning to God in a completely non-denominational, non-religious way through the use of psilocybin, and that was like holy shit. Actually, I
Well,
recorded a YouTube video today. Yeah, I recorded a YouTube video today about my three like wildest experiences on psilocybin. And then when I got done, I'm like, well, I was actually like, dude, there's like five like crazy trips that I've done that have really like helped transform me and reconnect me with God on just like a totally different level. So I have God. I talk to God every day, whether I'm tripping balls or not. And
Kyle, we're gonna be such good friends. I'm so happy. I'm so happy you agreed to come on my
dude,
podcast. Great.
and I think it's important again for like guys like us to be talking about, like psychedelic use and stuff like that. Like I'm a veteran. I'm a tall white guy with tattoos and I have a beard and I'm bald and I love firearms and I drive a truck and all this shit. But there's not a lot of guys like me that are out there talking about, psychedelic use
What
and
would
the
you want to
impact
tell?
that it's had. What was that?
Let's say those guys who are like you in certain ways, veterans, drive a truck. I fucking love trucks. I have it's a Corvette class. It's a four-seater, or excuse me, a four-door vehicle that can haul only humans very quickly. It's a Mercedes. Off-road does not happen. So my friends who have trucks, I like to go riding with you guys.
Yeah.
But my point is, for people like you, whether they're veterans, maybe they, I don't know, have traditional values, which means to get married and have fucking kids, blow my mind. That's a crazy idea. Fucking,
Right.
crazy. I don't know, like, we'll talk about that in a little bit. What would you want to tell those people who are like you that maybe haven't yet had the opportunity to receive healing through psychedelics or have some sort of heart and mind opening experience?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's forget the fears of the labeling from society, right? Because that was a huge part of me, right? Like I grew up in the DARE program and in the 90s and all that shit. And I thought if you did drugs, like you were, drugs, quote unquote drugs, you were like a bad person and all this shit. So like I had to let go of that. And it took me a long time. I think the other thing is I truly believe this. I am not an expert with psychedelics or all this shit, but I think if everyone on the planet went out and dropped fucking 7, 8 grams of mushrooms, I think the world would experience a level of healing overnight that we can't even fully fathom. So I think that's where this core belief is coming from. But the other thing is too, it's just like one, if you're interested, if you have any like inkling that you should try psychedelics, I believe that you should pursue that. I believe that you should research it. I believe that you should do it in a professional, guided setting, which I've never actually done. I've just,
Come
there's
Colorado,
been,
bro. My gift to you. I will host. I've hosted hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of psychedelic journeys
yeah.
for individuals and groups. I've been ketamine here is legal, done in the correct context. DMT here is legal, done under the correct context. So my gift to you, Kyle, you come on up to Colorado. I got you. Seriously.
Dude, hell yeah, man. I would love that. My friend and business partner has been pushing me a lot. So he's done bufo, ayahuasca, psilocybin. He's been pushing me to do like a guided experience. So I would love that, man.
Again, the legal use of ketamine and DMT is great. There's a couple others that are legal, Blue Lotus, but you come on
Yep.
over. I got you.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah, I'm in. But yeah, man. So it's just like get over. There's a lot of fear involved because you hear about all these things with bad trips and all of that shit. But honestly, like I've had quote unquote bad trips, but like something to understand with that, or I understand, is that there's a reason why God is showing me those things and having me experience those things because those are fears that I need to face and I need to overcome. So it's just like just fucking get over it and do it. Like you're not I don't know. I can't say that you won't regret it, but I definitely don't regret it. I'm grateful that I waited until I was, 35 to actually try it because I think before that I wasn't ready to experience that and I wouldn't have opened myself to it. But don't worry about labels, don't worry about judgment. Like would you rather live your life like and or would you rather live your life afraid of what other people are going to fucking think of you? You know what I'm saying? I think that's like the core message.
And for folks who are veterans too, there are a lot of amazing options for the legal use of psychedelics. I've worked in some of the ketamine clinics here as the coach. I don't usually go dressed like this when I do my work. I'll usually wear a V-neck T-shirt and I put my malas under so they don't see it. But I keep all my piercings. But it's a little bit more professional, and I usually don't have
Yeah.
this in red eye. But it's a little more professional for a therapeutic session, technically I do coaching. At least here in Colorado, and I don't know what it's like for Europe, but there's a many amazing, amazing, amazing both psychedelic and also psycho-spiritual, such as like holotropic breath work, various forms of meditation and mindfulness. I know that sounds silly, but like I used to have CPTSD and I've helped people overcome CPTSD. Mine was through sexual trauma. So I was sexually abused in
Mm.
my youth. But I know that for a lot of veterans, for them, it's like either killing people or having their best friends like dying next to them, incredibly traumatizing. I mean, so I've worked with a lot of clients. And so there are, I'm sure wherever, so if any of your listeners or followers or friends and, community members are listening to this, they have options where they're at paid for by the government that can be incredibly helpful.
That's awesome. Yeah, I wasn't even aware of that. I'm in Texas,
Yeah,
so things are a little bit more restrictive in
I used to live
Texas.
in San Antonio,
Oh, okay.
near Fort Sam Houston. Where are you at?
Funny enough, so I'm actually near Sam Houston State University. I'm like I'm like 3.5, 4 hours east of San Antonio. So I'm north of Houston.
Okay,
So
very
dude,
cool.
and I'm careful with like how much information I put out there only because dude, I've been dealing with like serious legitimate like death threats recently.
Let's talk
It's
about it. So yeah,
fucking crazy.
let's talk about the craziness that is our political commentary. And by commentary, it's a lot of liberals fucking screaming into the void. Like I don't
Dude,
mean to sound like an asshole here, but I don't know what else to say.
yeah, dude, I don't even know what this dude was, right? It's like it wasn't even like a political thing that triggered him, and this was like a legitimate account. And then I think he found me on TikTok, so I went live this morning, and it happened to be the same first name, so I don't know if it was the same guy or not, but it was just crazy. Like so I'm promoting this starve the system movement, right?
Yeah. And
So we were
talk about it here when you want.
yeah, so I'm promoting this starve the system movement, which is it's starting as just one day, but it's honestly how I'm living my lifestyle. So people, you and I were starting to get into this before we started recording, but like oh my God, like there's so much going on in this country that needs to be fixed. And I honestly am at a loss at like what to do about it. And some of my content I've gotten into like, convention of states and constitutional conventions and the issues with those. And I've even talked about a full-blown revolution and the roadblocks and problems I see with anything like that. And it's like the only way that I see that we can fix this is so I think everybody agrees, whether you're on the right or the left or somewhere in between, that
Bad and really
corporations.
bad, and our government should be at least changed incredibly so because of the Epstein shit. Hopefully,
Well, I mean, yeah, but I think what it all comes down to is the corporate capture of our politicians and our government. Like if you fix that, like if you stop allowing capitalism to control democracy versus democracy controlling capitalism, I think a majority of the problems are resolved in our country, right? So, but I'm like, how do we fix that? Like, I don't know how to do that. It's crazy.
I got a guy for you. His name is Will Carr. It is on the DL, but he's going to be governor governor of Colorado in 4 years. One of my very best friends. He's a fellow podcaster. I'm going to put you guys in touch.
Oh, yeah.
You and he are going to get along great. So
I would
I'm just bookmarking that one. Sorry to interrupt you. Please continue.
No, man, I love it. But it gets to the point where it's like, all right, so, if you look at corporation as what they are, they're literally businesses, right? And I think if you look at the United States and our government as a business, that's what it is. Well, what does a business need to do to survive? Or needs to survive. It needs money, it needs profit, it needs capital, right? So if we can't beat these things directly, well, what would you do? So like let's say you're going to fight a fucking grizzly bear. Well, what if you could cut the supply off of the grizzly bear and instead of having to fight it, you just dictated it to change its behaviors by it doesn't have food anymore. And it's the
You
same
can
thing with
fight
a
it now. It
business.
can't fight you. You just pet it. You tell it's a good boy, and that you're going to feed it honey,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
not when it tramples your children.
Right. So the corporations and the government are the same way. If a corporation, like let's say PepsiCo, right? If everybody decided to stop drinking pop, I'm from the Midwest, so pop soda, whatever you want to call it, Coke for you Southerners, even though it's Pepsi, it would have to adapt if it wanted to survive. It would have to start making healthier products because people don't want to do that. And that's the same thing. You're not going to tax corporations to death. You're not going to tax billionaires out of extinction. You're not going to vote your way out of this change because of the corporate control. The only way that I see that we can do this is we have to change our habits and we have to change our behaviors on an individual level if we want to force change. Education system. Well, there's a huge movement towards homesteading or towards homeschooling right now. You get enough kids, you pull enough kids out of the public education system. Well, guess what? The public education system is forced to change in order for it to survive, but that's why you don't see these changes. You don't see our food system getting better. You don't see the education system better because there are too many people that continue to just consume this shit. So they're like, well, fuck you guys, we're not going to change. And because they control the lobbying that happens on Capitol Hill, the politicians vote for what aligns best for the corporations and their bottom line and not
And
we
a
the
lot of these
people.
people, there's insane amounts of blackmail on them, and they're just
Oh, well, that's the Epstein thing. That's what I really think the whole Epstein, and I've tried not to go too far down that rabbit hole to like maintain some of my sanity.
I
But
went all the way in.
do you agree? Do you think that is a blackmail operation? Because that's
I
what
think
it
it's
seems
many
like.
things. My honest
Yeah.
opinion is many, many things, including a blackmail operation. I also think that it is honest to God, legitimate. I will call them predaceous, non-corporeal entities, which many would call demons. The Canaanite deities such as Baal and others. Ball. Or Baal, and there are others too, right? And I think that they demand child sacrifices as they did thousands of years ago. It's very clearly outlined in the Bible. And I think that these beings are still active. Whether or not they have physical bodies here is up for debate. And I think that that's like high level. I think there's stuff above them too. They're a very big universe and galaxy and solar system. But at the human level, you then have puppets who are basically just being puppeted like Hillary Clinton that are doing horrible things to children. And I think some part of these humans enjoy it, right? They have some form of pedophilia,
Hmm.
and they need professional help, but they're in extreme positions of wealth and power and are able to do whatever they want. And then they get blackmail on them. And they're basically like then the other upper echelon people who we probably don't even know their names, maybe they're Rothschilds or whatever. They then pull the strings behind because they basically say, if you don't do this, we're going to release these things. Even like the Monica Lewinsky thing for Clinton, they easily could have made that go away like that. Instead, they're like, don't forget, we fucking own you, bro. Same with not literally an inside job. And like, hey, Bush, we own you. Bush Jr., we own you. You literally will say anything we tell you to say. And they
Yeah.
do. And so that's, I don't know, that's my opinion in a nutshell.
No, and I mean, like, I think that's, from what I agree. I agree that it is many, many different things. And I agree with you. There's definitely something going on a spiritual level. I haven't looked into it, obviously, as much as you have, but everything you say, and that's the thing for me, like, I'm the type of person where you're saying a lot of people would be like, oh my God, there's no way that that could be true.
I
And I'm
wish
just
it
like, yeah,
weren't,
I
man.
could hear it. Yeah.
I wish it were different. It's not a fun game for particularly for those kids.
Yeah, but and that's the thing where most people just don't want to admit that, right? They can't like go on, they can't accept something like that as reality and then go on and live their lives because there's many different worlds that are out there. But yeah, so I don't remember what we're talking about starve the system, right? So that's the only way that I can see that this gets better because again, I can shoot problems in every other thing. Protest in again Article 4 or Article 5 Convention of States, Article 5 Constitutional Convention, the Revolutionary War. The only thing that I can see is you change the behaviors of the government through individual action.
Yes.
So Starve the System Day, April 15th, 2026 is it's tax day, right? And what I'm calling for people to do is to basically just disconnect for the day. And the biggest argument that I'm hearing is, well, one day is not going to do anything. Listen, it's not about influencing change through one day. This one day is just a symbol of unity, like a symbol that a lot of people can come together and do this. And some of the posts that I've shared about Starve the System, they have millions and millions and millions of views. So there's obviously people out there that have a desire to do this. So what am I asking? If you don't have a job where people literally require on you for life, so if you're not an emergency worker, first responder, or nurse or doctor or whatever, take the day off of work. If you can, pull your kids out of school. Don't go on your phone that day. Turn off the TV. Try not to buy anything. If you do it locally and pay cash. Or if you possibly can, just don't drive anywhere. Basically, like disconnect, don't consume, and spend the day like with the people in front of you. And the reason why is because these things, the corporations and the government, they track every data point, every single data point. So if you have enough people that call off of work, you have enough people that take their kids out of school, you have enough people that don't use social media for the day or don't go on their phones or don't watch the media networks, that shows up in the data to the point where they're like, shit, like these ants, these cockroaches, as they view us that are running around in our society consuming, they are coming together and they're not as divided as we actually think, right? So that's the symbolism, but to me, it's the lifestyle. So I'm eventually buying a big piece of property. I'm gonna build, dig a regenerative pond. I'm gonna do regenerative farming. I'm gonna have cabins to rent out where people can come and experience that lifestyle and see if that's something that they really want to do because all of those things I saw this woman shared, she made a reel yesterday and it was I'm a homesteader in a fuck the system kind of way, not a trad wife kind of way. And
Nice.
I'm like, yeah, that's the best way. If you really hate all this I saw this girl wearing a make billionaires extinct shirt and I'm thinking, first of all, you're recording this on an iPhone. You
Yeah.
probably drank Starbucks today.
Right.
The
Right.
shirt that you're wearing was made with oil. It was shipped overseas. It was probably shipped from overseas on a billionaire's
Made by
cargo ship.
slaves, some in another country.
Right. Right. And I'm like, do you not see the irony here? It's like so many people, again, this goes back to people want to be saved. Like, you think that taxing billionaires to death is going to somehow make
Dude, they
your
don't pay
life
taxes. They
better?
don't pay taxes.
Yeah. It makes no sense. So like if you actually want to have an impact on billionaires, stop buying their shit. Like
Yeah.
stop using their services, stop buying their shit. And again, like I'm never planning on completely going off grid and completely disconnecting from the system, but enough distance and space where I feel good about it and I feel that I'm making a positive impact on this. And like, dude, I'm looking at all these different ways to like get my property taxes down to zero. Like there's all sorts of shit that you can take advantage of to influence the system to change, but people just don't want to do that because they want somebody else to do the shit for them. They want
For
some
perspective,
politician to do it.
I love what you're saying. So I had a spiritual channel. He channels the Pleiadians, the star cluster. It's like way out there in comparison to what like normal people do. He was my last podcast guest. He's become a very good friend of mine. His name is Will. The Pleiadian channel is great. So very spiritual, right? He's said basically now it's at a different level. For him, we're talking about like spiritual energy and stuff. Exactly the same thing that you're saying of starving the system, starving the negative entities. An entity can be a corporation, as we discussed. He said they feed. Now, I agree with this too. I've been saying this shit for years. So he and I are in agreement here, and you and I are in agreement here too, right? We're talking about these different worlds. It's all, but it's like it's stacked. these negative entities, an entity can be a corporate entity or a government entity or your local PTO or whatever's fucking matter, or your HOA. If it is a negative organization, they feed off of negativity, people suffering, or slave labor. Spiritually, we can starve them by not allowing ourselves to become angry, not kicking out this thing that's called loosh. It's a spiritual term for like negative energy that these entities would eat. But on a base human America level, and I love on your shoulder, you've got the American flag. I saw it. It made me so happy. I actually really am proud to be American. And I know that like fucking makes people angry, which is crazy to me. I want to save and help save as a member of this, save myself, save the country by starving the parts of my country that are clearly sick, right? They're
Right.
clearly sick. Now, we
Well, it's
don't
like
need,
fasting, right? Like it's literally like a form of fasting. Fasting is really good for your biological body, and it can be good for an entity like you're saying as well.
right, because you remove those cancerous cells and we don't have to kill the whole body. The country is great. Constitution, man, is great. We can make edits to it. We can make amendments. There's a whole system for that. You're going to love Will Carr. And so we can leave the core infrastructure of what's here. It's solid. It's stable. Again, it's only been around for what, 200, 300 years almost. So it's relatively still fucking new, right? We can update it, but we can remove some of this other weird fucking scaffolding that's been grafted onto us, shake that shit off that we don't want through starving it. And all we have to do is be good people. How do we do that? Well, we probably talk to good role models in the community, good content makers that are happy to stand up for what they believe in, even in the face of death threats. I've gotten them too. Not anything super recently, thank goodness. My last experience was about a year ago. So how do you starve the system yourself? What do you do? What do you suggest other people to do to execute on this?
Yeah, I mean the biggest thing is start small. Like, right? Like you don't have to go and like change your entire lifestyle overnight. And I think that's the case with anything when it comes to like a journey, right? Fitness, right? If you're losing weight, you don't go balls to the wall like
Oh, get
overnight.
burnt.
That's a way you get burned out.
Yeah.
Right. So it starts small. So the first thing that I did was I left my corporate job, right? I'm like, I can't continue to be a cog in the system. And there was a lot of reasons why I did that, but that was like that's probably step two for me. Step one was just taking care of my physical health, right? Like I don't eat a lot of junk food because I don't like that. I think it's crazy that our food in this country is poison. But I can't sit there and eat it all the time and then be like, "Oh, well, they need to stop making this." Well, no, I just
You
choose
might,
not to
I know,
consume it. It's crazy.
I tell my kid to go, I go, she's 8. She's brilliant, bright light. And I go, baby, oh, that's poison. And she goes, why do people want us to eat poison? I say, cause I go, honey, I'm not gonna lie to you, because they hate us. They hate us.
Yes.
These,
Right.
and
I
these
think
entities, corporations, whatever you want to call them, they hate us.
yes.
She goes, well, I don't hate me. I go, I don't hate you either. That's why I say you can't eat the fucking Oreos.
Yes, yeah. And I mean like don't get me wrong, I'm not fucking perfect, like, but I'm pretty damn good. And for 39 years old, I'm in incredible shape. I'm not on any prescription medications or anything like that. So that's like a twofold thing. When you take care of your physical health, not only are you not consuming the bullshit, you're also not then taking medications to counteract the effects of the bullshit. So I'm not a profit cow for ultra processed junk food companies, nor am I a profit cow for pharmaceutical companies, right? And then so that was kind of the first step in all of this. And back then it was probably more vanity than anything else, but like now that's what it's about. It's like I'm gonna go as long as I fucking can without relying on that shit.
And it's just as a mirror, there's nothing wrong with wanting to look good.
Right. Oh yeah, for sure.
Women, they spend a lot of time on hair and makeup, right? And they ain't doing that for them. Any girls, oh, I do that for me. No, they're not. They're doing it for the male gaze. There's nothing wrong with that. They want to be attractive. Men should want to be attractive too. You can go to the gym because you want to be strong. Nothing wrong with that. That shouldn't be the end goal, but it can be a goal, and it's fine. Like fucking like I see. I work at the gym all the time. I'm injured, so I've been there for about a week. Everyone's like, "Will, what the fuck happened to you?" I see young guys flexing in the mirror. They see me, I'm pretty big. And they're like, kind of like, oh, I should be like, bro, fucking like this. Boom. Like,
Yeah,
let's go.
yeah,
Stand next to me. I'll show you how to do it. Like, own it. Be proud of it. You
oh yeah,
work hard for that. Like, thanks, man. Like, I didn't know this is my 20-year-old young man. Thanks, man. Like, is it okay? Like, fuck yeah, it's okay. Like, you're really strong. I mean, you are making these other men, these 20-year-old, young men, you're making other older men, you're putting them to shame. Own that. Don't be mean to them, but then you can inspire them. It should be inspirational. Sorry, it's my
no,
TED
you're
talk.
good, man. Well, and the other thing to that is like I also want to be a good husband, and I think part of being a good husband is making sure that I'm taking care of myself. One, so I stay attractive to my wife, and two, so I'm not a burden to her and my son as I get older. I don't want to do that, right?
And
So
it
the
kicks down
and
your fucking door, dude. Your wife is the one who's gonna deal with it as you.
right, exactly. And that's another just like being a good husband and a good father is just makes it harder to be manipulated and controlled by the system, right? So that's another thing. The a couple of recent things is I started a garden for the last year, and again, it's like it's just a little bit less reliance on going to the grocery store, or even like I live rurally, so I can go to farmers markets and stuff like that, which is awesome. But it takes me a long time to get there. But I can go out of my garden and I can pick something, and not only is it awesome from a health perspective and a less reliance on the system, but it's also like it's grounding. I have a spiritual connection to what I'm doing in my garden. It helps my mental health. So that's another one. I bought a bow this year, so I'm gonna get into hunting finally. I've been putting that off for a long time, but I'm gonna hunt more of my food. So again, I don't have to buy it from a commercial farm or anything like that. It's just those little, and I'm working my balls off right now to put my family in a position where my wife can eventually leave her corporate job and she can be a mom, and we're going to homeschool our kids because I think the education system in this country is completely fucked.
Well, it's designed to create slaves.
Yeah, and I think it served a purpose at one point in our society.
What our
Not that I
society wants.
Yeah, agreed. And like not that I agree with what society was or anything like that, but I get why it
A
started, but it
lot better
definitely
than
doesn't
Europe. I
serve
mean, it's
things
better
now.
than what they were doing in Europe. So it's like it was better. It was an evolution for sure. Yeah,
Right.
industrial revolution was better than the slave labor in Asia.
Yeah, it just went too far as things do, right? Dichotomy, that balance is really challenging for human beings, right? So we always take things too far, and then it goes so far in one direction, and then it swings all the way back in the other direction. And then I think that's where you see like again, we were talking about back in the day, I would have been considered a liberal, and now it's swung to the point where now I'm a far right extremist, and at some
Yes.
point in time it'll go back. Those are the things that I'm doing. And again, then in the future, it's like future planning is the big piece of property, using the resources available to get my property tax burden down to pretty much zero, consuming less, spending less, producing and creating more. I think that's how best way I can summarize it.
That's awesome. So, what would you do to suggest for someone who is starting on that path and wants to then make incremental steps, particularly like a young man who maybe even doesn't have a family yet? So I'm engaged, relatively recently engaged. And in my podcast, I talked a lot about my dating experience and a whole series on of what it's like dating in your 40s. Oh my God, fucking exhausting. I'm very happy to be done with that. You are happily married, my child. Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you.
Young child. It's a very exciting time. I have a 9-year-old or 8-year-old. What advice would you give to younger men? They're kind of trying to come up. They're trying to do the right thing, and they see the fucking chaos between right and left, good and bad. They don't know what the fuck's going on. Like, what do they do? And I guess you look at what did you do historically, and what are you doing now? What would you do differently?
I mean, so I think the biggest lesson that I learned is I never had the space to figure out who I was, right? So I went to high school, or I'm in school K through 12, and obviously there's a bunch of external influence when it comes to that, and you're around your parents and everything. As soon as I graduate, I immediately go to a local community college back in Ohio, transferred to a 4-year school, got done with that, joined the National Guard, went into corporate America, and I just went through life very unintentionally up until that point. I just followed the herd, right? I did all of the things that I was supposed to do, and in the way I never figured out or on the way I never figured out who I was. So if you have the ability, you don't have fucking responsibilities right now, go out and explore the world. Like get away from your fucking hometown, don't work, like literally, or if you need to work, save up some money and then go travel the fucking world and experience life in other places. Like even just moving from like my hometown back in Ohio down to Texas, like it's a different lifestyle down here. It opened me up to other ways of life and things that I didn't realize. So go out there and disconnect from all of the shit that you've known, because when you do that, you're going to create the space for yourself to allow yourself to discover who you are and like what truly makes you happy, away from labels and judgments and influence from the people that you love and they mean well, right? For the most part. But get away, just get away and just figure out who you are. And then just understand that embracing that is probably going to be really, really challenging, right? To just sit there and be like, you know what? I'm not going to do what is going to make those people happy. I'm going to do the shit that makes me happy, because that's probably my biggest struggle currently, is embracing that version of myself fully, is being the content creator, is, again, just like there's days where and I work out all the time and like I'm a super disciplined person overall, but there's days where I just want to smoke weed and do some mushrooms and not do anything and just chill. And then, but I have this like anxiety because I'm like, oh my God, like I'm being lazy and like somebody's gonna judge me and I'm not working on my goals right now. But it's like, no, I'm recovering and I'm resting
Literally
and
the word that
yeah.
popped up was recovery.
Yeah, it's like we don't, our society is just go, 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 go. So not many people are creating the space to just embrace who they are. And you mentioned breath work earlier. I think that's another, like, breath work and again, psychedelics, like there's so many ways to create space and quiet the internal noise to allow you to connect with these. I had a breathwork session Saturday with a good friend of mine, and I had been like all over the place. I'd felt anxious and stressed out and overwhelmed. And through that breathwork session and having that hour and a half to just quiet the internal noise, I realized why I felt is just because I wasn't embracing my true identity and I wasn't doing things that aligned with that, and I had allowed social media to dictate what I was talking about rather than the other way around. So that was just really, really helpful. So, and people are going to make fun of you. They're going to judge you for this shit. Like, no matter what you do, no matter who you are, whether you're your true self or you're somebody else and you pretend to be something you're not, people are going to judge you. They're going to make fun of you. Would you rather get judged and made fun of for being somebody that doesn't make you happy, or would you rather get judged and made fun of for being you and actually having a shot at finding some peace and happiness?
Yeah. And I totally agree with you. If someone's going to judge you either way, one, it actually then isn't about you, it's about them.
Right.
Two, you might as well be doing the thing that you want to do.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I had a guy, I was talking to a guy yesterday. He's a big guy, a real big guy. And he's like, dude, I get judged and made fun of all the time. I'm like, I'm 6'3" and I have a six pack and I'm in great shape and I get made fun of and judged all the time. I'm like, brother, you got to accept it. Like whether if you're happy being big, then just be you. But if you're not happy being big and you truly want to lose weight, then do that, right? Do what makes you the happiest, because no matter what you do, no matter how good of a person you are, you're going to get judged and you're going to get made fun of because of exactly what you said, is it's a projection of their own shit that they just can't handle because they see what you have and they want the same thing, but they don't have it.
Or they're mad about their fucking mommy who didn't pick them up enough when they were in the cradle. But like it's like
Yeah.
seriously, like that's the thing. For your buddy, if he does want to lose weight, retatrutide, the peptide, fucking amazing.
Yeah, I haven't looked into a ton of peptides, but I saw that that's one thing that you like
Oh, bro,
specialize in.
I'm so into it. I'm on a bunch of peptide. I'm on a bunch of other stuff too, but the peptide game is amazing. And we can talk about it or talk about it another time. But if your buddy wants to lose weight, I have many clients that are taking retatrutide. Total game changer.
But yeah, yeah.
One, I want to talk more about your content. I think your content is really very, very cool. So maybe, I mean, we can talk whatever the fuck you want. So I mean, you do
No,
about that.
I'm good.
I want to talk about this other thing.
I'm a content creator, brother. Let's do it.
Perfect. What is it's so dumb? This question. What's your creative process? What do you love about it? Because I can really feel there's a lot of people on the internet doing a lot of different things, but when you are making stuff, it really feels to me, at least, I think I'm a subject matter authority on this, that it comes from the heart. And that to me is the most important thing. Because when we really come from the heart, it doesn't really matter what we say because nothing super shitty is going to come out of our hearts. It may be wrapped in a container that a liberal might not like, but if an actual reasonably minded liberal listened to your content, they would actually, I think, be like, actually, I agree with what this guy's saying. And so how are you able to be from that heartfelt place? What lights you up, pun intended? And then two, like, what are you excited about continuing making?
Oh, man, there's a lot there.
Take it away.
Honestly, like I just like being authentic. Like I don't, I don't really have too much of a creative process. Like don't get me wrong, like I think about things before I say them, but honestly, the shit that hits the hardest and goes off, it's the stuff that I plan the least, right? It just comes to me in a moment. Like so this is crazy. So you had talked about this earlier, Instagram. So I have just approaching 82,000 followers right now. And
How many
dude,
do you have on TikTok? I'm not a TikTok guy.
TikTok, I only have 10,000. But
I've got like 300 probably on TikTok. I'm not on TikTok really at all.
TikTok's, I don't know why it's been more challenging for me, but
Some people have,
dude,
I know people that got like fucking hundreds of thousands and I don't know, they just know how to do TikTok. I just don't, sorry to interrupt you. Keep going.
yeah, no, you're good. But like, dude, 5 months ago, I had 618 followers on Instagram.
What? Is
And
that for real?
yeah,
I did
yes,
amazing. You're doing
yeah.
something. Fucking keep going, bro.
Well, I mean, I've been at it for like 4 years. So I started posting content back in 2020. I've started and stopped and picked it back up again and taken breaks and all this shit. But honestly, like what it was I was in my driveway and I'm like, dude, I'm like, it was when all these ice raids were like really kicking off. And I was seeing all of this outrage over these ice raids and talking about how the government's tyrannical and they're deporting people that have been here for years. I'm
They're
like, where were
recording illegal.
yeah, right. And I'm like, where were you motherfuckers there?
I'm gonna face bump the fucking mic on this one. It's like they are they are deporting illegal aliens. What
Right.
the fuck?
Yeah, and you have people going to no kings rallies and all this dumb shit. I'm like, where were you motherfuckers during COVID? I'm like, you were watching people's
They're getting
livelihood
injected with fucking Epstein DNA.
getting injected with that shit, getting fucking like their businesses and their livelihood shut down. People were getting harassed by cops like for being outside. I think I said arrested in the reel, but it was really harassment. It's like, where were you then? And it just, I'm like, these three types of men I can't fucking stand. And I'm like, I just go off on this little rant. And the last thing was really what hit it, right? Was I said, like, and number three, all of these butthurt men that are going to show up in my comment section, telling me about their opinion. I'm like, you're entitled to your own opinion just like I am, but you're fucking wrong. And then I'm like, and if you're not one of these idiots who thinks cow farts is causing climate change, like do me a favor and give me a follow. Dude,
Dude,
that one reel has
it
hit
was.
1.2 million and it took me to like 18,500 followers. And then I was just like, you know what? This is what I enjoy about so I just like having fun. Like when I get too caught up in like we gotta store no, I never said store in the Capitol, but we gotta fucking call a constitutional convention. I'm like, this isn't fun. I'm like, that's not me. Like, I'm not that guy. I'm not the guy who's gonna go out there and start a protest. I'm not the guy who's gonna go out there and call for a constitutional convention, even though I've talked about those things
Dude,
and I
I don't
understand
even know
them.
what that means. And that but
Yeah.
I'm in such agreement with you. I don't even know what the fuck that means. I'm sure it's super important and someone should go do that. And that sounds
Yes.
cool for them.
Somebody should do these things, but I just enjoy talk. I mean, honestly at the end of the day, I just enjoy shit talking. Like it's fun for me. That's the creativity to it. It's like my favorite thing to watch on YouTube, other than like permaculture videos and stuff like that, is Kill Tony. Like, yeah, I love Kill Tony. I love comedy.
Yeah.
And I think that's another thing that's missing in our society. It's like, can we just fucking laugh at each other? Like, do we have to argue and fight about everything? It's like, I love people who make fun of MAGA Republic. Shit's hilarious. Like, I
Dude,
love it when people
yeah,
make fun of Trump. It's fucking funny.
yeah.
Like, I don't care, but it's just the hypocrisy that like really bothers me. But that's what I love about it is it's an expressive route, right? I have a newsletter too that I write. It's all about self-expression is really what it all comes down to, I guess, which I just realized now that we're talking through this.
It is it. And I think that's why it's so authentic. And I think that that's why because it is coming from the heart and it's like, it just is real. You know what I mean? And again, you don't have to necessarily agree with like all the words that are said or whatever, like little details here and there. Bro, it's like people get fucking hung up on this stupidest shit. And it's like, well, actually really feel through, hear what is underneath that. And I think you're actually going to agree with those things. And then it's then what you do about it. And you have a fucking plan, start a system, which is literally not to sound too woo, literally what the fucking Pleiadians just told us all yesterday. My producer was here yesterday after that, and he comes and he goes, Light, that was a really intense podcast. And it was fucking intense. And so
Oh, yeah.
literally we got from the top and another fucking goddamn solar system telling us one thing, and you're doing it. So congratulations, brother.
Thanks, man. Yeah, and I mean, I think that's like, when you look at societies, throughout, think about how much certain things have been demonized by Western culture, right? Like, look at Native Americans, obviously, and literally, like, we starved.
They love the Pleiadians. I've done over 200 sweat lodges. Evan, you want bees, you eat bees, you name it.
I
I
want
don't
to do
I'm
peyote.
Tommy, but I'm a holder of multiple traditions in the Native American tradition. I literally got scalped. And so I hold a medicine pouch and I carry that altar. Like I am part of that fucking tradition as a white person. And they love the Pleiadians. Just to put it out there. Shout out to the Pleiadians. Sorry.
Man, no, you're good, dude. But like, think about that. The reason we did it because it wasn't because Native Americans themselves were a threat to Western culture in a traditional sense, right? Like, we had them out armed and outgunned and all of that stuff.
You think I
But
rocked?
yeah, but their lifestyle was non-consumer driven. Like, it was a threat to Western society. So what did they do? They starved out the Native Americans. They killed all the bison, which literally starved them out. And then they had them, docile and able to march them on the Trail of Tears and over. And then you look at like the Amish culture, right? They're demonized by Western society because they're weird and they don't fit in. But no, they're just not profitable is the big part of it. And then look at the hippie movement in the 1960s. The reason they were demonized was because it was the same thing. They weren't sending their kids to our schools. They weren't paying taxes. They weren't relying on our food system. They were opening their mind through psychedelics and realizing how fucking fake and gay all this shit is, right? You know?
And
And
Jerry
it's
is
like,
retarded. Oh no.
yeah, right, right. But it was like, it was just like,
Actual definition of that word, retarded means a thing. It means that you are developmentally delayed.
yes, like an engine retarder. Like
Yes, this is a
there's
fucking
a,
English word. It means to chill the fuck out. So if you
my mom gets mad at me for that once.
I've got a very good friend at the gym. He's 20. I don't want to say his name, but he's getting ready to play professional football. The kid is 6'5". He's a fucking brick shit house. And he happens to have a brother who's retarded, like actually retarded. And he says retarded. I'm like, bro, are we allowed to say that now? And he goes, well, I am. I got a retarded brother. He goes, it just means he developmentally late. He's not a bad person. But like, that just is what it is. And whatever he was saying about someone that do the gym, he goes, that guy's also developmentally delayed, but he doesn't have an excuse. My brother's got an excuse.
Well, and it's like context. It's like if I call some like it's one or it's not context, but like it's one thing to call someone or something retarded. Like I call my buddy retarded. But it's one thing if it's hateful, right? Like if it's an actual retarded person and I'm like that fucking retard, like that's
It's
totally
different.
different, right? And the same thing with gay. Like I grew up in the 90s and early 2000s. Like it's just a slang term. Like it's not hateful or anything like that. Like I was about to say, I would never be like, call my gay friend, but no, I do. Like, dude, you're being real gay right now.
I'm a go-go dancer, so I'm very straight. I'm a go-go dancer. So I get up on stage. I sometimes dance at gay clubs as a straight guy. There are women there too. On stage, hundreds of people. I get paid money for this. And bro, those gay men are so fucking gay and so proud to be gay. You call them gay, that is a compliment. because after that, they go fuck each other in the ass and they love it. And that's great for them. And I am
Yeah,
very good friends with these guys. And like, if I were to be like, yo, bro, that's super gay, it wouldn't be in a negative way. That's a positive way. Like, and they love that shit. They go
yeah,
all out with their costuming when we dance. Like, it is very fucking cool. And like, they are very secure men in that. That's not my life. I'm not going to do that, but that's because I'm not fucking gay. I'm not into that. And that's
right.
okay. Right.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, and it's just like again, that's where it comes down. It's just a matter of like having fun. My biggest reel was the most fun one that I did. So that wasn't my biggest one. The biggest one I have has like 12 million views. And it was so during, the Minneapolis shit, liberals were carrying around AR-15s and I sequenced the reel and I'm like, now you motherfuckers understand the Second Amendment. I'm like,
Yeah.
I better not hear shit from you guys
That's
next
what,
time.
again.
And
Right.
it blew up, right? Just completely blew up. But again, it was just spur of the moment. It was one take. It was something I saw and responded and reacted to in a very genuine manner. There was no call to action at the end or anything like that. It was just me being me. And I think that's another powerful thing is by being authentic when you're doing content, it gives other people the space to do the same thing. It's like, oh fuck, like this guy is just being him. Well, now maybe that means I can step into my authenticity and my true identity a little bit more as well. And again, man, like me and my buddy are talking about doing, retreats at some point. I have coaching clients that
I
at
was
its
just honestly,
core,
I was thinking about you doing a men's retreat for young men to take them on these like trips, have them kind of like nut up a little bit. I think that'd be
yeah. Well, and I think the whole point of that is through hard shit, you discover who the fuck you are. Like, are you gonna curl up and give up, or are you just gonna keep fucking going? And that's like my personal mantra right now. It's keep fucking going. Like, no matter how hard shit gets, no matter how many ups and downs I feel when it comes to the content creation, because there are days where I'm doing 99 videos in 99 days on YouTube right now. And dude, that shit's fucking hard. Like it's really fucking hard. Am I gonna give up or am I gonna keep fucking going? And am I going to figure it out? And
what is your
again,
what is your future look like? What are you so excited about? I'm hearing retreats, enthusiastic, yes. I'm hearing shit ton of YouTube followers, enthusiastic, yes. Continuing to build out Instagram and TikTok. What else? What else do you want to co-create with the world and bring into existence?
it's what I'm trying to learn to do is to not think these are all just ideas, right? The reality is right now my biggest focus is just embracing the identity of content creator and seeing where that takes me. Maybe it's retreats, maybe it's something else. I don't truly know, but the only thing that I know that I want in life is I want to give my wife the ability to make working a choice. Like that is a non-negotiable for me. That is something that I am dead set on accomplishing. I know I want a big piece of property where I can be left the fuck alone. I can garden, I can hunt, I can fish, I can do all of those things. I can explore the property, I can play in the dirt with my kids, I can have my regenerative pond. And honestly, other than that, man, I know I want an old ass truck and I want a new truck. And other than that, like everything else is kind of just like icing on the cake. And I say all of that to say like I believe that that's the best life that I can provide for myself, my wife, and my son and any future kids that we have. But and then they have to dictate what makes them happy, right? Like I don't know what's going to make my son happy, and I plan on exposing him to city life and all of those things. And if that's what he chooses to do, then fucking great.
Yeah.
But that's it, man. Like honestly, if I can do that and then not have to just work myself to death in order to get it, I'm happy, you
Well,
know?
definitely don't work yourself to death because
Yeah.
we
I
need
don't have any plan on doing it. I'm not good at that. I
that'd be
can't do
good.
that.
Good. Good. Um, so definitely we're gonna have you back on the podcast. You're definitely, I mean, I can't speak for him. He's one of my best friends, but I just can't guarantee. But I basically guarantee he would love to have you on the podcast.
Yeah.
Will Carr, we will have you out. My gift to you, we'll figure out scheduling. You and if your wife wants to come on over to my fiance's name is Amanda or the Cosmic Mistress. That's her podcasting name.
Hell yeah. I love that.
And we host retreats all the time. So my gift to you is a psychedelic retreat. Done. If you want to bring your wife to, awesome, and she can enjoy as well. And then Amanda can co-host if you want to do like a couple thing, or we can also break out and do like you and I like mano a mano, and then the women can go do their own thing too. Either way, so we're gonna make that happen.
Hell yeah.
What in your near as we wrap, and also please share, and all the links will be in the show notes and such, but please share where people can find you. I like to ask this question. I just think it's fun for me and fun for people. This is not the only time that you will be able to communicate to the world. But if it worked, if this were your last will and testament, this is the last, 1 to 3 minutes, average it to two. You can speak longer if you want. I can go out the door and keep going. Trent is in here, and eventually we do have to leave. But what would you what would you say to not just the people here in this room? We got three of us, not just the people who are going to listen to this podcast, not just the people of America, not just the people of Earth, the Pleiades too, the whole fucking universe. If this was your last moment, what would you tell them?
And so, as you're saying that, man, I'm thinking of like this thing that hit me the other day, and I'm getting super emotional about it. But I woke up in the middle of the night on it was probably sometime like early Sunday morning, and this was the day after my breath work session, and it kind of like hit me, like you hear everybody say you go out to play with your friends one last time, and you don't even realize it, and then I'm like, well, fuck, that list just goes on, right? Like at some point in time, I'm going to do my last workout. Like, I'm going to walk out my front door for the last time. I'm going to have my last cup of coffee, and I'm going to, hug my wife for the last time, and kiss my son for the last time. And like, I'm sitting there, and this shit's just like going through my head. And then it all leads to that last breath that you take. And I'm like, fuck all, like doing all of those things as somebody that I'm not. Like at the end of the day, I just want to experience all of that shit for the rest of my life, being authentically me. And, fuck working a job that I hate so I can buy shit that I don't need to impress people that I don't know, right? Like I'm not going to pretend to be anything that I'm fucking not from this moment forward. And I think that's like the most empowering thing that anybody can do, and until you learn who you are and how to embrace that version of yourself, good luck, because you can never find sustained peace and happiness. That's the core of all of it. So that's what I would tell people. Like, don't take that shit for granted. Life passes you by. Life is too fucking short. It is too precious to spending one fucking second being someone or doing things that you aren't or you're not meant to fucking do.
Fucking Kyle Wakeman, everybody. I found a new friend, a new brother. Dude, let's lighten this place up a little bit. So where can people find your amazing content online?
Yes. YouTube is Kyle Wakeman Coaching. Instagram is Kyle_Wakeman. Facebook is Kyle D Wakeman, and TikTok is Kyle Wakeman Coaching as well. Like a lot of the content, if you follow me on Instagram, TikTok, it's all gonna be pretty much the same shit. The YouTube videos is kind of where I'm like I'm
Podcast? Do you have
what's
a
that?
do you have a podcast?
Actually, thank you for reminding me of that. So I do a podcast with my friend and partner Josh Bove. So he and I, it's the Defiantly Human podcast. We only do it on YouTube right now. So like that's all I have time to do right now. So and that dude, I would love to have
Oh,
you
done.
on our
Just let me know.
podcast as
I'll
well.
record
Yeah,
here in the studio, so I'll zoom in and it'll be
yeah.
full setup.
Hell yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll definitely do that. But yeah, that's and the defiantly human. What does it mean to be defiantly human? It means exactly what I just said. Just fuck everybody else and just be you. And that's it, man. Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, so those are it. But yeah, man, and I have a newsletter. You can find the link to my newsletter, which is called Navigating the Storm, in my bios on Instagram and Facebook. The Navigating the Storm and then the YouTube channel is really like peeling back the behind the scenes of what's going on, right? Because it's really hard to get in super deep in a 60-second fucking reel on Instagram. Yeah,
Dude,
brother.
I fucking love it. Kyle, we're gonna have you out. We're gonna legally do some drugs together. It's gonna be
Oh
great.
yeah.
If I'm holding space, I don't usually partake. It sometimes it's a little bit. When I'm holding space and holding a container, I'm very sober. Other times I'll have someone else holding a container and then I'll get super, super high with the client.
Oh
That's
yeah.
That's usually for exorcisms, which you do not need. This is more of a equally low light thing. And the exorcisms, they sometimes get a little gets a little spooky in there. Not gonna
I gotta
lie.
hear that. I gotta hear that story, man.
It's gonna be on the podcast.
Awesome.
And I can talk about it on your podcast too. Bro, you're fucking a man. We are at time, which means we're just gonna have to do part two coming up. Kyle, thanks so much. Trent, thank you for producing. Thank you to Let's Do Podcast, and we will see you all next time.